Hello, with this Ryder here to review the Yokai Watch Jam Y School Heroes DX YSP Watch Viper Connector Custom Bezel. So here we are again with our second bezel set, and luckily for this one, it actually stands on its own because it's actually thick enough to do so. But you know, I like that for the most part it's in the same box style and such. But again, this is the second bezel set for the YSP watch that allows us to transform the YSP watch into the Viper connector YSP watch, I guess, to which our two metals comprise of Sky Snaker and the changed metal to the Viper connector. I don't know their name, and obviously we know who this is. But yeah, again, I find it really interesting just how much more thicker they made this box and such. Oops. Wait. Which way is... Oh, okay, it is this way. But, you know, here's the back. Tells us to use all of these corresponding metals within this mode for certain reasons. And, you know, just the basic information and such. So let's take a look at it. So here we have the contents. Obviously we have the bezel itself and the two metals, to which we would take a look at the Viper connector custom bezel, to which I definitely do like how this is the first watch that bezel we have that is actually different. Obviously, because the previous one that we've covered, the Zero, obviously is heavily based off of the original YSP. But I like how this one's trying to be its own thing and such. As you can see from here, we have a stereo bar kind of thing, because I think this one's more music based, I assume, because of the sounds. But you know, I like how basic this one is. It's a very deep translucent purple with the orange outlining, obviously to be a V because of Viper. But as you can see from back here, it's still just a piece of plastic. Still as solid as, you know, the other bezels. Because again, if we were to compare, here is Zero. And you can just tell that this one is thicker in a way, which is pretty interesting. But again, it still has the 3 posts to install and such. So, taking a look at our metals, this is our deluxe metal of the set, the changed metal from YSP, the YSP watch to the Viper connector. I think that's what the watch is probably called then. It's probably called the Viper connector, which makes sense. So there's Kengo Betty Maru and Sky Snaker. And I do appreciate that the art on these are different. You know, just to actually have these have some purpose. And this one is actually YC02. So of course this is not really going to do anything in any other watch. And then our transformation metal, Sky Snaker, is a 4-star. And they look pretty cool. They are Y09. So again, I really like the shade of... I really like the color they show us here. It's like a really light purple, which is, again, I feel like we've never really had much of. So, let's use these. So here we are with the YSP watch. Obviously, it's in YSP mode. I just didn't take off the bezel. It doesn't really matter what mode you're in, because basically the moment you insert this metal or a changed metal, it immediately changes it to the watch that's for. Such. So again, remove that, align these all together like so, turn it off, and then turn it back on. Yeah, so interestingly enough, this one doesn't announce itself, but it has that nice guitar riff and such. And before I forget, remove the metal. Now, obviously, all of this is the same, so we'll go to Shokan mode or Summon mode and transform into Sky Snaker. So there we have that bass line as our standby sound, to which again, turn this to the right like so to complete the transformation. And there's the transformation for Sky Snaker. Now, I forgot to bring this up. Obviously, this requires version 1.2, because if we were to, again, I guess, try to use it in here, because the zero was able to work in version 1. But as you can tell from here, none of these are not going to work. So, I'm bringing that up because despite the fact that this is version 2, we're no longer going to get phrases for corresponding yokai heroes. So it just seemed like a random fluke thing they decided to add. But we'll do the instant transformation, I guess. Also, I appreciate that this becomes an S, and the S is a snake. But yeah, we're kind of basically back to basics with our sounds and such. So, actually, so if again we were to use another transformation metal. As you can tell, it's the same setup, or startup, and then transformation. So as you can see, Ninetail still has his phrase, obviously. So it's just, again, it's the individual metal they're not updating and such. Command, we're holding off on doing a deluxe medal because that's the only one we can actually showcase and with an actual corresponding watch. Everything else is just random. So summon. There's gonna be something, well, I'll bring it up after, but it's a Mysterium medal. I had no reason to pick in this one. It was just the first one I ran into. And then our item metal. Yeah. But again, here's an actual comparison to the two item metals. As you can see here, the original Fudoraime Ken, and I assume the one for Tengo Beimaru, they had this light shade of blue. But for some reason, Wild Boy and the next one we're going to cover is darker. But again, I assume it's just because of the color mixing and such. Because now, actually looking at it, I do see a resemblance of this color, but I think it's just because it's mixed in with the yellow, it's making it darker. But again, I didn't use this one because it just causes it to do that now for some reason. It's supposed to air out, but we can just switch it back, but we're actually gonna just switch it to 0. Because if we were to use Sky Snaker and any other device, yeah, it's just obviously I should say this like just to revert this back into the YSP. Just insert it again. Like, obviously, it's just a lot easier just to chain it and such. Like, insert this, then do this, and then insert it back. I know I should have done that, but I just wanted to actually show the change to YSP with this metal. But, overall, what I think about this bezel in particular, it's fine for sure. I think the bass sounds it has within itself are pretty neat. I'm personally not too fond of the other sounds because of the fact that they basically just kind of take what the YSP watch originally already had and just, you know, it's just a rock version of those sounds basically, which I don't mind. Like, because again, at least with the item metal, they redid the standby, but the, you know, again, like the ghost summon, it's just, again, a rock version, which I don't mind it. And the mystery metals, I think, are not that altered. But like other, like, I feel like, in my opinion, it doesn't really change up as much as the 0, because at least the 0, like, the 0 again is the same thing, but it's just that, you know, everything's in Japanese and it's like more folk-esque and such. So like, it does at least give you a different feeling, or like, you know, it does a good job at least trying to revert things into that old style. But like this one, it's, I don't know, like I feel like if this one's trying to be its, and also again, the 0 is the prototype of the YSP, so of course you would expect those sounds. But this one, if it's supposed to be an entirely different thing, I kind of don't get why it's carrying over so much from basically what it's supposed to not be. But other than that, I don't mind it. It's pretty solid overall. And luckily, just like the 0 custom bezel, the Viper connector custom bezel should be pretty easy to find. Again, my best suggestion is to just to get Zero and Viper connector together in a lot off of like Macari or buy for Macari via buy or just anywhere for like under like $12. Because again, like these things are really cheap, but they add so much more to the watch. Because now again, this is our third official mode within the YSP watch and such. Like I think for sure, my favorite part of the set is probably the bezel. Like I really do like how they're trying to like. I really like how they changed it up a bit because like it's still like technically in a way, even though this is supposed to be a V, it can still come out as a Y, just like a real. I mean, yeah, you know what? It is actually pretty smart that they chose a V because it's just in a way, it's just a Y cut in half. You don't have the stem. I didn't really think of it like that, but again, not a bad set, but not a favorite for sure. Yeah,